Hey folks, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the first day of a tournament I played the weekend before Halloween called the Halloween Growler. Took place out at the Admiral in Semmes, Alabama. We played two different layouts across the Admiral, Admiral Black and Admiral Orange, where we kind of built these courses on the front and back nines of the Admiral, as well as using some field space. I have posted some videos kind of explaining these layouts in a little bit more detail. If you haven't seen those practice videos already, go check them out. But yeah, we're just going to be kind of taking a look through the rounds that I played. As I played 2 rounds on the first day, I played Black and Orange the same day. I then played Langley Municipal Park for the final round, the second day of the tournament. And so I'll go ahead and tell you now, this tournament was a bit of a doozy for me. Lots of downs. There were some positives as well, but definitely had some struggles throughout. And I'll definitely talk you through some of those, as I've always tried to be pretty transparent and honest about my play at these tournaments. I don't really cut out all the bad shots and only show you the good shots. I try to give you, a good realistic picture of how things went. And so we'll kind of take a look at, my shots, take a look at my putting, take a look at, maybe some numbers, and kind of just talk through how everything played out throughout the course of the day, as I did have a lot of fun, and I do feel like I've grown in some areas, but definitely struggled in some areas as well. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into the first round. All right, so the first round I started on hole 4 on the black layout, which is basically just normal hole 3, a pretty tight par 3. Nearly hit the gap, was just a couple of inches too left, so I caught kind of the left tree of the gap I was trying to hit, which kicked me off to the side here. So I had a little bit of a tough recovery shot, but was able to get up and down. And this wasn't a hole I was really expecting the birdie anyway, but I definitely left myself a longer par putt than I wanted. But I was able to cash it, so that was a really big par save to kick off the tournament. Nice to hit a good, long, confident putt to kick off the tournament, so pretty happy about that. Now, this one was a pretty long uphill shot. Literal distance, I think, was 325, but definitely played longer than that due to it being so uphill. But I threw a perfect turnover, exactly where I wanted, and actually gave myself a look at birdie, which I wasn't really anticipating, but just did not commit. So that is my first birdie attempt botched, but still at even par through the first couple of holes. So this is hole 6 playing along hole 4's fairway at the Admiral, and I just yanked it right into the woods right away. Every hole on this course was playing as a par 3. Was able to get back to the fairway, and so this is me trying to get up and down the save bogey after having a disastrous tee shot where I had to kind of just waste a stroke to get back on the fairway. And after yanking it right, I then early release left and get one of the worst kicks possible, as you can see. I mean, I'm pretty deep in the rough here. I can't even really find a way out, honestly. I tried to, throw a little forehand roller back in the fairway, but couldn't get there. And so now I think this is me throwing 5 on this par 3. And so this would be me for triple, I think, or double bogey. We'll take a pause there. That was a really tough hole. Took a quadruple bogey, which we'll talk a little bit about this later, about, how only a handful of holes really kind of ruined the whole tournament for me scoring-wise. But that was the biggest blunder I made the entire tournament. It happened very early. Taking quadruple bogey there. So going 4 over par basically through the first 3 holes that I played. Despite the fact that I had made a good par save in the first hole I played, nearly birdied the second hole I played, and then the third hole I played, I took a quadruple bogey. That set me way back. But I tried to just shake it off, focus up on the next hole. This is just normal hole 5 from the white or blue tee. Threw a really good forehand, put myself, well within circle 1 for a birdie. And now it's a nice bounce-back birdie putt. So we're 1 for 2 on birdies. Another really tight hole here. I was trying to play like a slight flex shot, but started it too early inside. And so I caught one of the trees. Got a really big kick to the right-hand side. Threw a pretty decent recovery shot from where I was at. I didn't really have that much to get to the basket. And so this is going to be a single bogey here. And that's going to put me, I think, now at +5. Or no, back to +4 because I birdied the hole prior to that one. So this is hole 9 on the layout. Just playing hole 6's fairway.
Get through all that crap.
Yep.
Threw what was a really good shot there. But, you know, a lengthy birdie putt. Edge of circle, maybe just outside the circle. And so now I'm 1 for 3 on birdie attempts. Now this, real quick, I'll pause here. This is normal hole 7 from the red tee at Admiral. So it's a very short shot, but it is an island hole. And this island is incredibly tiny. There's water on the front side and water on the back side, water right. And it's just like a really small, like, little peninsula. And so most people in normal tournament play, there's a drop zone. And so a lot of people will just lay up short of the island, then pitch to the island and take a 3. Or they'll lay up short of the island, maybe risk it and actually try to take a putt at it for birdie. But if you miss, you're likely are going to go into the water, and then you are going to be taking a bogey. So with the rules of this tournament, though, there was no drop zone. It was play it from last in bounds. So my thought was, I'm going to run the ace, and if I soar over the island, it's not a big deal because I will have crossed inbounds on the island, and then I can just take my putt from there for par, which would basically be a tap-in, and that would essentially be the same play as laying up and pitching across and taking a 3. The only real risk of that is if I didn't make it to the island, I wound up landing in the water short of the island, then I am putting for 3 in kind of a death putt scenario with the water behind the basket, and I could take a big number there. Or if I yank it into this tree or I catch something early, then I have a really long approach shot, you know, to try to still save par. But it was a risk I was willing to take. And obviously, if I could hit the ace, that would be electric, and that would really kind of get me back on pace after that quadruple bogey. So I threw a nice shot here with the MD3 and flew it right over the basket and into the water.
Oof.
And that disc is still in that water to this day. Hopefully I'll get it back. But yeah, I was able to knock in the par putt, though, from the island because that's where I was in bounds at. Card agreed. And so no harm, no foul on that risk. As we make it to hole 11 on the layout. Kind of playing hole 8's blue pad to a basket up to the right. Threw a really good forehand here, put myself in perfect position. And so this is for birdie. And just too high. And so now I think I'm 1 for 3 on birdie putts. Somewhere around there. This is just one of the new field holes we added for this layout, and I just overcooked this way right. I was trying to play over the top of the trees and then have it crash back in, but there was this OB line on the right, which I definitely was OB. So this is me throwing 3, trying to save bogey. And so this is the bogey putt. And just a touch low. So now I think I'm 5 over par or something like that. Actually took a double there, so I think I'm now 6 over par.
Somebody did it right.
This is just a really long par 3 out in the open. It's like 390. I can't throw that far, so I just threw kind of a smooth straight shot just to make sure I could have an easy approach to get my par. And I succeeded on that, no problem. The last hole I took a par, didn't catch it on video, but took a par on that hole. It's another one of those kind of just longer par 3s, and it was uphill. So tough for me to reach. This one, though, definitely in my wheelhouse. Only about 265, 270. Was able to get the MD3 parked. And so that was a nice birdie there. Didn't even have to putt for it. This is like a dangerous 440-foot hole where the road, or actually left of these crepe myrtle trees were OB. So I just bonded over the top of them really straight just to make sure there was no chance I was fading out left out of bounds, which left me with like a 200-foot approach shot to the basket for par. And I was able to connect on a good approach shot there. I was parked for a par. Now this is an island hole. It's more like 265, 260. Sign's a little inaccurate. Going with that same MD3. And this is actually a funny story. I do park that. But what happened was, is if you'll notice, I threw my MD3 on the island hole and put it in the water. I went to my car. I had a backup knowing that I might lose it on that hole. So I had a backup disc in the car. I actually went and grabbed it and birdied a hole with it that you just saw. And now I have a chance to birdie with it again here. So the fresh new plastic brought me some good luck, giving me some birdie looks. And I was actually able to capitalize on a couple of them here. So doing a little bit of damage control. Now this hole, I'm just trying to hit the not hit the pumpkin. Get through the Mando. I don't care what happens after that. Turned it over a little bit more than I wanted to and a little low, but I got through the pumpkin. That's all that matters. I went out par in the hole. Then this one, just overturned the forehand, catch one of the first available trees. So now I'm in scramble mode here, trying to get up and down for par. And I was able to put myself in a position, but still a really long putt to save par here. And I was able to nail it, so really nice par putt there. Unfortunately, all the nice putts are for pars and not for birdies. I've been missing most of my birdie putts, so that's a struggle we'll talk about here a little bit, as this was like a really weird get around the corner flex forehand shot. And this is a new disc in my bag because I lost the other version of this disc. It was a Spice, like a really overstable disc. I was trying to just throw like a chop forehand, but I just did not chop over on it enough. So now I'm trying to just find a way to punch through to the basket.
Oh my god, dude. I was so close.
And I actually didn't realize that I got this really favorable bounce and roll. I said I was so close. I was so close to hitting this little window I was trying to punch through to get up to the basket. But I still wound up getting up near the basket anyway and still collecting the par. So it was no big deal. As we head into, I believe, the final hole of the round. Yeah. Just did not get over on that one enough to get through the tunnel. And I got a really bad kick left. I was getting a lot of tough tree kicks. You know, yeah, it's my fault for throwing a bad shot. And that shot was just really poor. I tried to scramble and throw over the top of the bush, threw it too low, got stuck inside of it. Now I'm trying to pitch up. And, yeah, things just did not go well from there. So we'll take a look at the scorecard here. I started on hole 4 of the layout, which was normal hole 3 on the course. Went up par on that hole, par the next hole, even though I had a look at birdie on this hole. So it's kind of sad I wasn't able to convert on the birdie there. So that's 0 for 1 on birdies. I take the quad. We're not even going to talk about it. You saw it. It was a nightmare. I threw some bad shots. I got stuck in the rough. Really struggled to get back to the fairway to really do anything after that. And so, yeah, this hole definitely was really the biggest damage I took the entire round. I kind of look at it like I played 2 really bad holes the entire round out of 16 holes, you know, and this was one of them. And then the final hole I played was another pretty rough double bogey to take. And then I obviously went OB on that one hole and took a double bogey out in the open field. So I guess technically I played 3 really bad holes out of 18 and played 15 pretty decent holes. But, you know, it is what it is. So I wound up bouncing back with the birdie the very next hole after the quad, so at least I was keeping the mental game somewhat in check. But then I immediately bogeyed the next hole, so not really the pattern you want. Parred out from there for a while. Had that double bogey out in the open field due to going out of bounds. But I also missed a couple of big birdie putts here. You know, I had a putt for birdie, you know, on hole 9, you know, the little forehand to the basket up on the hill. I missed a birdie putt there. Or no, this is the backhand that I threw where I missed a putt straight on. And then this was the hole where I threw the forehand up on top of the hill and missed the birdie putt there. So those were 2 birdie putts I missed. Plus this birdie putt that I missed on hole 5. So that's, you know, 3 putts for birdie that I missed. So was like 1 for 4 on birdie conversions. You know, really this being the only one. And then as we go on, you know, I was able to get a birdie here as well as get a birdie on the island hole. But, you know, I also missed a couple opportunities as well. So really this round came down to 2 or 3 really bad holes, and otherwise I thought I played pretty decent. I did get 3 birdies, but again, those got canceled out by just the 1 quadruple bogey that I took. And I also, again, missed on a few birdie attempts as well. I'll actually show you or talk you through some full stats of the first day in a second, but this is where we're at heading into the second round. Now we're on the orange course for the second round. This is the first hole I was on. It was hole 5. Camera didn't quite catch all the flight, but I threw a really nice just over the top shot. And this is a putt for birdie, a very close putt for birdie. And that's a big miss for birdie. So this is the other island hole, the island hole for the orange course. I actually thought this was really cool. We used some hay bales. It spelled Halloween Growler in the background. It was really, you know, pretty looking what we were able to do with some hay bales on this one. As not only did I play this tournament, I also kind of helped set up the courses for this tournament as I'm a part of the Mobile Area Disc Golf Association, one of the board members. So I kind of helped a lot with it. But it was fun to get to play it as well and see how it came together. And another birdie. Putt missed. So that's 2 in a row to kick off this round. I was actually the only player on my card to make the island off the tee. And then I didn't capitalize, which is kind of depressing. But, you know, at least I haven't taken any damage yet. Still playing clean. Was just kind of throwing for a straight shot to the basket. Didn't quite get enough height on it, so came up well short. And I'm not even going to count this one against me. That was a really tough putt. The tree was in my way. I kind of had to straddle and try to throw like an Annie putt, and it just didn't work out. So that's not a birdie putt I'm going to count against myself. But able to get the par. Overturned this forehand a bit, but was able to catch a good break finally and actually not getting any trouble. And just an easy pitch up for par on that one. So we're still, you know, even par on the round. Keeping it clean. Definitely want to start scoring some birdies, though, because I have some ground to make up after shooting 6 over on the opening round. I'll just overturn this one. It was like a hole where I didn't want to get stuck in the woods early left, and so I wound up overturning the shot into the woods on the right. But luckily, I didn't go deep into them, so I still had a pretty reasonable look at approaching the basket for par. And so here is a decent length par save putt. And able to connect. This is just like a little short 200-foot blind shot. Don't remember what hole on the layout this was. I think it's 9 or 10 or something like that. Did it exactly how I wanted to. Got around the corner, got some good forward progress, and yeah, I have a pretty good look at birdie here. Maybe 25, 30-foot putt. And just yanked it wide right, never even had a chance. So another par there, so another missed birdie opportunity. Really tough. Yeah, now we're at 11. Do this one a little inside. I wanted that to be a little more straight on to have a chance to skip up to the basket. But I wasn't too hurt taking a par on this hole. Then this is like a little tight 200-foot tunnel shot. Nailed it perfectly. Felt really good about it. Put myself up there for birdie. And so this is my birdie putt. And I miss another birdie opportunity. So you're seeing the theme here. I'm hitting a lot of great par save putts, but I am just not connecting on any birdie putts.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And this was just a bad shot. Got caught up early. Luckily, I had a little bit of a lane here to kind of throw at standstill and try to still get up and down for par. I throw it exactly how I want to. A little low skip shot in the tunnel, and I'm left with an easy tap in for par. So I haven't taken any damage yet, but I'm just not scoring. So I'm just kind of, you know, treading water. Then this is another one of those holes where I'm trying to stay away from the woods early left, and I wind up just pulling it into the woods right instead. So just little mental mishaps on, you know, trying to avoid damage one way and therefore causing damage in a different way. Instead of just trusting my shot and throwing it straight. But, I mean, another big par save there. So I'm doing a really good job saving par at this point. And this time I, you know, finally commit to the shot the way I want to and throw a nice straight shot. I wasn't really trying to go for birdie on this hole. I was really just trying to make sure I got the par. It's kind of just a tough shape. But my approach shot was lacking. I left myself a really long par putt here, but I was able to cash it. Again, par saves are going great.
Oh, my God, you suck. Yeah, okay.
Oh, man. As again, I usually try to throw this shot. I'm usually trying to throw something understable that'll turn, and I kind of aim for the corner and let it turn into the gap. And for whatever reason, this time I kind of aimed straight at the gap, and so I turned off the gap into the right-hand side.
Okay.
But played some Plinko and got stuck up on this corner. I decided just to be smart, Get it to the fairway. Don't try to do anything crazy. Take your medicine. But then I wound up yanking this one right into the woods as well. And, yeah, just struggle bus on this hole. This was the only par 4 of the day. The only par 4 amongst the 2 layouts that we played at the Aberrall. So I wound up bogeying that hole. Hole 1, I wound up, I think, bogeying. Yeah. Hole 1 of the layout, that is. It's normal hole 10. This is hole 2 on the layout. Just threw way too safe of a forehand. Didn't really attack the basket. Threw it nose up, and, yeah, didn't really have anything left here. This is not even a run. This is just me trying to punch through a low ceiling, make sure I have my par tap in. Then on this hole, it was really windy at this point of the day, and I was just thinking to myself, I'm not going in the water.
That's definitely not in the water.
And I didn't. So goal accomplished. I definitely should have attacked the basket a little more straight on to give myself a chance at birdie, but again, I was really just trying to make sure that I didn't lose another disc in the water or, you know, take another OB penalty.
Oh, get it.
And I almost sunk that. That was a really good bid. And this is the next hole. Didn't catch the drive, but this is another birdie putt opportunity and another birdie missed. And so I will tap it in for par instead. And so this round, I mean, we pretty much watched all the holes here. I had a triple bogey on one of the holes that I got caught up on. I may actually not have had footage of this, but yeah, I had basically the one triple bogey, and then I had 2 singles, and I just capitalized on 0 of the birdie putts. 0. And I'll actually pull up the stat because I actually have it here. So these are the stats that I took from day 1. I actually had all my par save putts go in. I didn't count tap-ins where I just pitched up to the basket and had like a 5-foot tap-in, but I actually went 5 for 5 on lengthy par save putts. These were putts that were, you know, 25 to 30 feet. I actually made every single par save putt I needed to. Now, I did miss a couple of putts for bogey. You know, there was that one hole I went out of bounds on in the first round, the open field, for example, where I putted low on the bogey putt and wound up taking a double because of it. So I did have a couple of, you know, missed putts for bogey that wound up turning into doubles. But the issue is I went 2 for 10 on birdie putts. And the reason for this is I did actually do 3 birdies in the first round and no birdies the second round. But one of the birdies was a tap-in, so I don't even really count it as like a made birdie putt. It was a drop-in birdie. It was the island hole that I played on the first round on the black course. So of the actual putts that I went for birdie, I only made 2 of them, both of which were in the first round. And then I missed every other birdie putt. You saw a few of them. I actually missed the first 2 birdie putts of round 2. If we're looking at the round 2 scorecard, I started on hole 5 where I threw over the splash pad, had a very easy birdie putt, missed that. Then the very next hole was the island hole, had a very reasonable birdie putt there, missed that as well. And this little 200-foot hole, I had like a pretty easy birdie putt, missed that. Then I had that 200-foot little tunnel shot. I had a birdie putt here, missed that one as well. So you could just kind of see really the issue of this first day was that I was able to, you know, capitalize on a lot of par saves to limit damage, but I also took massive damage on just a couple of holes. You know, I took a quadruple bogey in the first round. I took a triple in this round. So that's 7 strokes in 2 holes where, you know, after these first 2 rounds, I was actually 11 over par. So 7 of those 11 strokes were off of 2 holes of the 36 that I played. So really it was just a couple of really bad holes and then just a lot of situations where I was not birdieing. I had 10 reasonable looks at birdie, and I only cashed in on 2 of them. Again, I had 3 birdies, but I guess I'm 3 for 11 then, if you want to look at it that way, but I kind of just minimized it to, you know, when I actually had the putt for birdie, and I only converted 2 of the 10. So that is just kind of weird because they were about the same length putts. You know, like the 5 par save putts that I hit were the same distance or maybe even a little longer in some cases than the birdie putts that I was missing. And I don't know what that is. You know, I don't know if it's like the pressure of scoring is different for some reason to me than the pressure of saving par, where this feels a little more routine and this feels like I'm actually like going for something, and that creates some type of weird pressure. But I don't feel any different physically. It's not like I'm feeling jittery or shaky or feeling physically nervous, like the physical symptoms you would have of being nervous. Like I said, kind of being maybe a little bit shaky, a little sweaty, you know, a little just nervy, not committing. You know, I felt like I was throwing roughly about the same putts, and they just were not connecting. So that really does sum up the first day of the tournament. You know, it's just a situation where I had a couple of bad tee shots that had a domino effect into taking big numbers, you know, a quadruple and a triple bogey, a couple of doubles in there as well, and then just not capitalizing on hardly any of my birdie putts. I mean, a 20% conversion rate, not great. So that's that. And folks, that's going to do it for talking through my first day of the 2023 Halloween Growler out at the Admiral in Semmes, Alabama. Again, played 2 rounds on the day, one at Admiral Black, one at Admiral Orange. Another 36 holes of golf. I played pretty decent through most of them. I just had 2 doubles, a quadruple, and a triple. So 4 really bad holes out of 36. Played the other 32 holes pretty well out of the 36. But I also just did not capitalize on a lot of opportunities for birdie. You know, I only got 3 birdies on the day, and I had 11 looks at birdie. So really left so many scoring opportunities out there. Again, the putts looked and felt about the same as far as the distance and difficulty, but the birdie putts were just not hitting. But I am proud to say that I was at least able to hit some really nice par putts. So it felt like my putting overall is getting better and getting more comfortable and getting more consistent. I've definitely been putting a lot of work into it, you know, practice putting at home. And I feel like I've made some changes to my putting form, particularly how I grip the disc, getting my index finger out of the way, getting it tucked under the disc instead of on the edge of the disc has really helped me have a smoother release and a more consistent release. So definitely some good strides in putting. My backhand accuracy was pretty good. I made both islands, so that was nice. So I definitely had some things going for me, and overall my forehand felt pretty good the first day. I was throwing some pretty good forehands, pretty accurate ones, and I even got a birdie off of one of them. So definitely some highlights to be had, but just a lot of lowlights, particularly on the putting green, and then just having those handful of really bad, you know, tee shots where if you're in the woods and you're slightly off, you're going to pay for it. You know, that's really what it boils down to. So folks, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please follow and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Until then, have a good one.